Well, earlier we spoke to our correspondent Jim Spellman in Washington. He says the U.S. is pursuing further sanctions against the DPRK.
In an unusual move, U.S. President Donald Trump hosted ambassadors from the United Nations Security Council at the White House Monday to discuss tensions on the Korean Peninsula.
This is a real threat to the world, whether we want to talk about it or not. North Korea is a big world problem, and it's a problem we have to finally solve. People have put blindfolds on for decades, and now it's time to solve the problem.
It's also unclear whether President Trump calling for more sanctions while at the same time sending a U.S. Aircraft carrier group and a nuclear-powered submarine towards the Korean Peninsula at the same time are going to be able to yield the results that the White House is looking for. But at this point, the United States feels that there's really not a lot of good options forward. Sanctions have been tried for years, and so has this sort of saber-rattling brinkmanship of sending military hardware into the region. So the Trump administration really is looking for options forward and not finding any particularly good choices ahead of them. Extremely unusual. I don't recall this happening before. The briefings will be led by the U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson and the U.S. Secretary of Defense Mattis. They'll brief the senators about what they have as far as intelligence at this point and as far as options moving forward that they are considering. They're going to want to gauge the reaction of the U.S. Senate to what they're hearing, hear ideas they have forward, and hear what kind of resistance they may get from some of the senators in attendance. What the White House is going to want here is buy-in from the U.S. Congress if they have to take military action or if they pursue sanctions. Before that meeting with all the senators, President Trump will meet with two key senators, John McCain and Lindsey Graham. They're both known as hawks. They have been pro-military action around the world, really, and the president will want to gauge their reaction especially and hear what the thoughts are of that part of the Senate that is sure to push for military action, even if there are other routes available.